Hey everybody, in this video we're going to generate our HTML menu from our map.json file. We're going to use some Rust to do that, and let's get started. The first thing we want is a mutable variable called menu items, and that's actually going to be the type of a vector new. So we're going to have a vector, which, like I said before, if you're familiar with other programming languages or whatever, it's like an array. A vector called menu items, okay? We're also going to have menu items count. We're going to set that to 0 for now. Oh, and this new function, that's initializing the vector. So we actually have a vector as soon as this is declared. It's just empty. It's an empty vector at that point. And then we want to loop, do some looping. So for each in 0 through pages, object.pages.length, same function as we used up above to loop through, right? Or same criteria there. Just each page in our pages object. For each one, we want page details equal to our pages object, pages each, looking similar to what we did before, right? So far. Now, menu index, we got to keep track of the order of each of our menu items in our template file, right? Like home is going to be in first. Oops, let's change that. And programs will be number 2. Since template is 0, it's not going to show up on the menu. We don't want that on the menu, right? Because it's just a template. So menu index, page details dot index. That's how we get the index value, right? Just by calling that that attribute. And then we have if menu index is greater than 0, right? Because we don't want the 0 in there. We don't want the template. Menu items count equals menu items count plus 1. So right now we're just counting all of our non-template, or all of our items that we want to be on the menu. We could also create, like, if we didn't want programs to show up on the menu, we could just say 0. It's a page that just doesn't show up, right? So any pages, so we're counting the number of pages that are gonna be on our menu with that loop. And then after that loop, we want to create another mutable variable, menu link string. It's going to be a string. And we want to just initialize that with emptiness. Let mutable I, this is going to be a 32-bit integer. We're just going to set it to 1. And the reason we're setting this to 1 is because we're going to use this to loop through. We're going to use this in a loop here in a minute. And it has to do with, once again, we want to skip these zeros, the ones with an index of 0. We're going to get our loop. It's kind of cool, and having Rust, how you don't have to, you can do for loops, but you can also just do a straight up loop. It's just going to keep looping until that loop breaks. So loop, if menu items dot length equals menu items count, then break. That's going to break our loop, right? So it's going to keep looping until the length of our menu items, which is this vector that contains each of our menu items. Once that matches the menu items count, which we counted up here, then we're going to end our loop. If those don't match, then we want to continue our loop. Why did it just tab like that? I don't like TextMate. Okay. Anyway, we'll just deal with it. Wow, what the heck? Okay. So for each in recycling this a lot here. Like we can just go up here really and just go. Oops. Okay. So once again, each page, we are going to get the page details again. And all this, the reason we're declaring these variables so many times, it's a lot of it has to do with for Rust's memory safety features. By redeclaring because we're using references, a reference goes out of scope as soon as it hits any kind of bracket. So this it goes away as soon as our code gets out of this for loop. That's done. So so that's why we keep declaring it. You know, it's a little extra work, but it does provide that memory security. You know, you don't have to worry so much about that kind of thing. That's one of the trade-offs with Rust. Some people like it, some people hate it. For some projects it's good, for some projects it's terrible. For this project, it's fine. I mean, we get a nice fast program, right, in the end. So, and I don't know that memory safety is critical with a static website generator, but it's all good. So, got index. All right, so we're getting our page details, and then we're going to this index, right? So menu index. So for each one, we're going to keep track of what its index number is. Page path, page details dot path. Okay, I think that's kind of obvious what that is. That's this, the relative link or absolute link to the page. The page, yeah. That's when somebody clicks on the menu item, like, you know, in the menu on the page, somebody clicks it, it's gonna use that page path to know where to go to get to that page that they clicked the menu link for. Okay. Page title. Details.title. Page link boolean. So that's just saying, is this an external link or not? And then we got some more conditional logic here. If menu index equals I and page link boolean equals false, so it's not a link to an external page, then menu items dot push page title. Okay, so we have this menu items, which is this vector, and we're gonna push, which is, you know, appending our page title right here. So the title of that page to the menu items vector. And we're also going to get our menu link string, set that equal to menu link string plus, and this is we're just hard coding in some HTML basically. Okay, this is some character escaping here. So ahref equals quote. It's a lot of stuff just to get a quote, right? Class equals menu link. What that does is gives you a class that you can use so you can style these menu links in your CSS file specifically. Base. Okay. So I think this R, I can't remember exactly what this R hashtag stuff does, but it must just give you a string that it doesn't need escape, variable or like symbol escaping or something like that. I'm pretty sure that's what that was. I can't remember exactly. Anyway, okay, so here then we put our page title, which is that title that page, right? Then we close our A tag. Put in a new line. This is a little bit tricky here, right? Let me widen this up. Okay. Menu link string equals menu link string plus a href equals quote plus, maybe it's double quote, maybe that's what that is, space class menu, space, okay, and then we put our page title in there. So let me type this out. This is basically what this is going to end up looking like. Equals okay, so that's the string we're going to end up with basically. And if you're familiar with HTML, that's just some HTML string right there. And then I think at some point we're going to put the link in there. Yeah, for now, that's the string we have. Now we got our else if. Gosh, I hate how it tabs like that with the else ifs. That's weird. Menu index I and page link boolean equals true. So it is an external link. We're going to handle things a little bit differently. We want menu items push page title. So it still goes to our menu items vector. But for our menu link string, I want it to be menu link string plus a href r page path, page details.path instead of a page title. So, page path, oh wait, I'm sorry, I did this wrong before. So the page path goes in both of these. Stupid. Yeah, okay, I was wondering why that was a little weird. So our link goes in there, so that's the link to the page, right? Okay, page path plus our menu link. Okay, here we go. Here's the difference. Target equals blank. So that means that if it's an external link, it's going to open in a new tab or a new window instead of just opening in the same tab or same window. Okay, so we're going to have one big long string of all our menu HTML here. And that's just about it. Let's see, we got a little bit more. Inside our loop is where we want this last little bit of code. So I think this must be the end of our loop. So right outside of our first if there, we're going to put I equals I plus 1. So that's this that we set to 1. So it's going to, it's increment each time so that we're getting the right menu index and we're going through each menu index. So that's it. That's how we're going to load in our menu HTML from our map.json file, which is buried here now. And that's the code we're going to use to do that. In the next video, we are going to combine our template HTML. Remember, we have that loaded into a string. We're going to combine that with content pages, which are these pages, these TXT files, or they could be HTML files if we wanted to as well. Either way, they're just string. We're going to load them, basically into strings, and we're going to combine those into the template file, and that's what's going to create each individual page for us. So that'll be the next video. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and peace out.